is Baku. Today I will make my submission, my resubmission replacement of Trico, the hybrid battle royale. I have studied through multiple animals, and this is the strongest one I have found, and also being the most unique. I studied through the aquatics, land hybrids, and semi-aquatics, and finally reached something well made. This hybrid is none other than a crustacean. But without further ado, let me just explain why I've chosen this. After the release of Metrogenetics Deuce Rex, it gave me an idea. Whenever he said the perfect adaptment of Sector D, it gave me an idea. An animal built to survive in the sands. It brought me back to my Raku bio-accurate idea, which is a creature, specifically a lobster from Creatures of Sonoria. So, it gave me the idea. And I looked into what I could do, and now I have the perfect hybrid. And I already knew that Trico wasn't good enough. I needed something better. He was too heavy and broke his limbs due to crocodile armor, and he just wasn't original. So, once I looked into semi-aquatics, I knew that the crustaceans, specifically lobsters, were very original and underused. They have the correct adaptments for a strong pinching and also being very streamlined and semi-aquatic build. I will use the langoustine as the base for this hybrid. This is a crustacean that doesn't grow forever and can stay on land for up to 15 hours. This is quite good as those are the correct adaptments. It also is under 100 grams, which is great, because a lot of crustaceans are actually quite heavy. It's armored and it has a unique pincer that is just a lot different than others. I believe it should have the correct formation in the way it just is. It has a very unique way, and I do think that that is good. We do have room for improvement on this base level, though, as it's not perfect. And I mean that its claws are more unique because it sort of has, what do you even call it? Ridges, and it's more shaped for just damage and pincing through, rather than just crushing. It has sharp ridges and is much more advanced than other claws. This is incredibly well compared to the American lobster, which is built for crushing, and it doesn't have any adaptments for just sharpening and having advanced claws. While this one has ridges and sharp edges all over it. Next we'll use the coconut crab for its strong pinching. The coconut crab has the strongest claws out of any crab. They are also capable of crushing through bones. We will also use it for its robust limbs. These limbs are sharp and they can climb up trees due to these. When using these, we should be able to climb between the mangrove trees. We also need to use it for staying on land the longest, as of course this is a mainly land competition. We also want a diet of fruit, birds, coconut, and all sorts of stuff, so our hybrid won't be a picky eater, and anytime it kills something, it will likely just eat it, because of course we need to be adaptable and eat a lot of things to go into a competition like this. Next, we'll use the slipper lobster. This is only for its very thick armor. This is among the thickest of all lobsters. We really need it for this hybrid, of course, because, well, durability is greatly valued for any hybrid, no matter what. This armor should be able to resist through all sorts of attacks, including other lobster claws, even though there are no other lobsters in this war. But there are crabs, which does mean that this armor is going to be useful. Next, we will use the spiny king crab for, of course, what is in its name. Yeah, we're using it for its spines. Durability doesn't cut it. We need more. We need spines. So whenever it bites it, it won't just have a hard time biting through it, but it will feel pain. Whatever bites it will get stabbed in the mouth. Also, if it tries touching it, don't take that literally, then it's likely going to get stabbed and it's gonna feel maybe like a nail. Of course, but not hammering into you. This is incredibly useful because, of course, durability is great, but even whenever anything bites it, it's going to have a hard time, and their attacks backfire, and it's going to end up in them getting stabbed in the mouth. Next, we will use the American lobster for its just more robust front claws. These claws are just way larger and longer, leading for more power. With the coconut crab force and the size of these claws, it should be able to have an incredibly deadly crush. The American lobster also provides a small size boost. This size boost will just be up to whatever we can get up to 100 grams, the max. We really want to be a brute, as we don't really have any way to sacrifice speed, as we will be the same speed, so we need to be a brute for this size. Next, we use the mantis shrimp. This is for its incredible eyesight. This is one of the most advanced eyes in the world, and possibly the most advanced. This is incredibly useful because, of course, we need great eyesight. This will be also for hunting anything underwater or in the sand. Literally for anything. These eyes are incredibly advanced, so it will be quite useful. We also want it for its very beautiful color scheme. We of course want our hybrid to look very cool, and I really like the color scheme of the gold, the red, the greenish blue, and the pearl colored eyes. This is just an incredibly beautiful color scheme, so I like to admire it. So, yeah, we are going to use it for that reason. First time I've ever actually used another animal for the color scheme. Next, we'll use the toxic reef crab. This, of course, is for what's in its name. This is for the poison throughout its entire body. This is one of the deadliest poisons, possibly comparable to a pufferfish. That means it would take around 45 minutes to kill anything, which is incredibly deadly. And that can make competitor lose its spot in the final 6. Oh, that's quite brutal if I'm gonna be honest, but of course we need to win, so poison is a great value. Of course, that's because, well, battle injuries do carry on, meaning that any bleed, poison, or venom is going to carry on. So, I guess that's the end of the genome. It is time for me to present to you my hybrid for the Battle Royale. Prepare to see. Alright, here is Grim. Grimm's stats are a weight of 100 grams, and a walking speed of 3 miles per hour, a sprinting speed of 6 miles per hour, and a swimming speed of around 15 miles per hour. He's highly advanced for crushing down onto any opponent with his strong claws. He is arguably a lot more practical than a crab due to his more streamlined build. He has incredibly muscular limbs, letting him climb up onto mangrove trees or also maybe run a bit faster. He is going to, of course, go into Sector D because, well, that is where he belongs. A rocky, sandy terrain, a beachside. With his coconut crab DNA, he will walk up onto mangrove trees and eat fruit. He also will burrow and eat any things under the sand. He's got the intelligence of a mantis shrimp, which I forgot to clarify, and whenever he's on land, he will likely blend in with the habitat and turn into a grayish-brown coloration or some other, depending on where he's at. He, of course, is okay with the salt water and shouldn't have to worry about anything in the biome, as it is basically his natural habitat. Now, I believe that he should be able to win, because he's just a lot more advanced than Trico, and I also think he's way more original. Now, let's just move on to a quick battle, or maybe what his environment could be like. Grimm sits in the sand, typically, and burrows in it during the day, but during night, he's going to just go back underwater. That's where he stores back on moisture or any problems, so he can fight up again and stay good in the day, because he, of course, needs moisture. Please give him something for moisture, BQ, in Sector X. I think there should be that. I'm assuming. But now, after that, he would likely get hungry, and typically he avoids conflict instead of trying to go eat other opponents. He doesn't want to get into a fight, of course, but if he has to, he's going to definitely get into a fight and dominate. He's probably just going to avoid the conflict and rather eat like small insects in the sand or anything under rocks and that type of stuff. Possibly actually crabs, other crabs or crustaceans if he needs to. And he also will, of course, climb through mangrove trees, eat leaves and fruit. So yeah. Alright, let's do him against another contender. This is Zamiborn's Huggy Wuggy. Huggy Wuggy is a very powerful primate in Sector D. He is built to actually survive in this area, surprisingly, even though his main habitat originally was probably jungle. Now, let's get to the fight. Huggy Wuggy is walking around. Unlike Grimm, Huggy Wuggy, he doesn't jumps onto the mangrove trees and swings around. Then he smells something. He then looks for it, and he finds a small crustacean. Well, not exactly small, as it is Huggy Wuggy's size. The crustacean was Grimm, and he immediately strikes Huggy Wuggy. But Huggy Wuggy dodges it and slams him with his fist, swinging him around and throwing him at a tree. Then he grabs a rock and throws it at Grimm. Grimm, after that, damaged a little bit. Then Grimm runs over to Huggy Wuggy and strikes him with his claw. Huggy Wuggy tries grabbing onto a tree branch to get off of the claw, but it only makes it worse. Grim pulls harder, way stronger than Huggy Wuggy's arms, and Huggy Wuggy is torn in half. Then he is all practically dead at that point. Grim then eats his body. So this is just a test to see if he really can fight something. I think this is a realistic outcome, as Grim has some really powerful claws and he's extremely durable. Huggy Wuggy would have also gotten poisoned during the fight, so I think that Grim could win. Now, Barryox out.